Setting January 22nd, year 2020, 11:59 p.m.
Dang. Someone should have reminded me to update earlier.
I am not impressed.
Yeah, I know. So thanks for joining me on another adventure. You may have seen my 2-part KH3 review, and if you haven't, well... Following that, you may not have seen the follow-up to it. It's alright if you missed it. But before I dive into Remind, I want to put the base game of Kingdom Hearts 3 to rest once and for all. So if you're strictly here for the Remind content, well that's okay. Just go to the time displayed.
That's 20 minutes and 59 seconds.
Exactly. And for those of you who stuck around, I'm going to be doing the post-game completion. I completed some of these before the review was ever finished, such as the Ultima weapon, because I wanted that visual element to be included, but at no point was the obtaining of the Ultima covered in that video, so I'm doing it now. Among others I've completed since. It shouldn't take long.
Let's hope not.
Oh, I'm hungry. So let's check in first with our little rat mouse friend Remy.
When I first discussed the bistro in the KH3 video, I was just ecstatic to see Remy and a cooking segment in the game. I love that little rat, and chefing it up is something near and dear to my heart. So I just wanted to compliment the game on that regard. I mean, each world having unique ingredients to collect, and Ratatouille cooking up dishes, that's simply brilliant. But to be honest, I spent minimal time in the bistro during my main game, and especially my gameplay footage run. And why, you may ask, do I bring this up now? Well, in my pursuit to clear the post-game, one of my objectives involved getting the Grand Chef Keyblade, and the unlock for this is an infuriating one. Get excellent on all recipes. So there's 28 recipes, and all of them require anywhere from 2 to 7 ingredients. When you're out, you're back to traveling worlds scrounging to replenish ingredients. Look, I just want a new Keyblade. Specifically, I just wanted to show it off for the return segment at the end of my Monstropolis review, so I ended up save scumming to avoid the hassle. Okay, hear me out. It was just easier, okay? But that still meant closing the game, loading the title screen, loading my file, which includes loading Twilight Town, loading the bistro, then closing the game again 2 seconds later when I failed the minigame. These things happen so fast. Before I can even tune my brain into what's going on screen, the minigame's over. There's no meters or numbers to indicate your success. Just this pink swirl. I mean, that could mean anything.
Trust me, I've cracked a ton of eggs in my time. And time. That was supposed to be a bit more elegant, but seriously, how does an egg crack get this devastating?
Oops! Oh. Sorry. sorry.
And why do your eggs have 2 yolks? Just wondering. And just in case you're wondering, these are not going to waste. I'm going to make a nice egg frittata after this. Which is basically just an omelet in the oven, right? Omelet in the oven, right? Omelet in the oven, omelet in the oven, right? Omelet in the oven, right?
So I've failed countless times without understanding why. And that's also after winning countless times without understanding why. So there's no way to gauge it. But no matter, that is in the past now. There is 28 recipes, but only 4 actions: crack egg, flambe, peppercorn crack, and chop. And it gets a bit tiresome, but in all honesty, it's worth it, cause Little Chef's Keyblade is real slick. Collecting chests. Pretty much as you'd expect from a Kingdom Hearts game. I always collect what I see in my first run through, then revisit each world to get them all in the post-game. And yeah, pretty standard stuff. When I went back to KH2 for gameplay footage, I was shocked by just how many chests there were in Beast's Castle. But KH3 has a tame amount, except for the Caribbean. Look at this. But it's cool. It really is like a treasure hunt in the Caribbean world, and it was fun to explore the extra islands I didn't bother going to in the main run. So I got all the chests to get that little Mickey emblem. Well, it was mostly to get all the Classic Kingdom games. I mentioned these twice in the KH3 review, so I'm not gonna say much here. But after collecting them all, it's still crazy to me how much variety there is. I mean, these are really simple games, but they have so much charm. Upon securing a high score on each, you get presented with the Classic Tone, a goofy looking Keyblade that squeaks a lot. Not my favorite Keyblade by any means, but it does have one cool effect. A throwback to the Classic Kingdom. No, not the games. The world. Ultima Keyblade. Mostly mini-games and odd tasks to unlock. And then the synthesis itself. But after all that hassle, it turns out to be worth it. Look at this majesty. Next up, I'm facing all 14 battle gates. Each world has at least one, some have 2. Finding them was easy. Let's be honest, I used a guide, though I still had trouble finding the one in that blasted ice dungeon. I am so done with this place, but these were all a breeze with my Ultima. Well, except for Dark Inferno. He beat me down a few times.
It can't be.
I'm getting flashbacks. Though not nearly as bad. I got him down after an exchange in equipment, and eating a full course meal. Yeah, I completely forgot about this mechanic. Even after visiting the bistro to complete the menu, it never crossed my mind to eat the food I'm cooking. Even in my first playthrough, I had no real need to boost stats the first time round, but I'm not complaining about the difficulty too much, cause critical mode is now an option.
Yeah, maybe some other time.
Coward.
Hey.
Anyway, Dark Inferno went down with a full belly. Heck yeah. Now I've got all the Xehanort reports. interesting stuff. So that kinda does it for battles. No real formidable foes up ahead, and it's a shame. I still have 44 levels to go before the leveled out trophy. Dang. Alright, on with the grind.
So long!
So there's one thing that's not present in my KH3 video. Summons. Yeah, KH3 features 5 different summons to help you in battle throughout the game. Actually, they're called links, but don't work the way they do in Birth by Sleep. Essentially, their summons just the same as in KH1 and KH2, so I'll just call them that. Anyway, yeah, never used them. Not once in my first playthrough, or my second run for gameplay. Honestly, I forgot they even existed. To be fair, I didn't use summons much in the first 2 games anyway, and there was never really a point where I needed them in this one. But there you go. Footage of each of the summon, D-Link, Drive Form, Eidolon GFs of Kingdom Hearts 3. So I was going after the Leviathan and True Captain trophies. Then I unlocked the Black Pearl. Dope! And it goes super fast. Look at Sora control this thing. Finally, a true captain.
You're looking smart today, lads.
I do feel extra piratey. Hey, I'm the one with the captain's hat.
Boat battles done. And now minigames. Ugh, I hate minigames. At least when you're expected to perfect them. But I started with the flash courses, which aren't too bad once you get the hang of it. And then, the frozen slider. I'm sick of sliding by now. And then, the dumb dancing. You know, it really takes the fun out of the jig when you have to adhere to a score set. And this is especially hard for me because it will forever be ingrained in my mind that this button's Dawn and this one's Katsu. But it's opposite colors in the dance game. It just doesn't feel right. Though on a side note, I never noticed Donald and Goofy dancing about off to the side. That's neat. Alright, done. Virum Rex. I've been dreading this one. Okay, not too bad. Done with the minigames. On to the gummy ship. I need constellations and 20 unique treasures. Okay, so there's a major oversight with these gummy battles. If you haven't fought that specific battle before, you cannot track it down with a marker like you can with the ones you have completed. But that by itself isn't the problem. What really makes this an issue is that while you're flying around, looking for the missing ships, there is no way to tell which ones you've encountered before and which ones are new. I'm trying to get an A rank on all of these, and with my progress so far, I figured it wouldn't be too difficult of a task. But I've been flying around aimlessly for about an hour now, replaying battles I've already aced. I check the menu after each one, and sure enough, the entry's still blank. There's a trophy for this. How did no one think to differentiate between these ship battles during development, or any updates since? I don't like wasted time. Alright, couple hours later, I got all A ranks. Next we'll do constellations, followed by blueprints and gummy missions, just for the heck of it. I didn't mention constellations in my KH3 review, I simply missed them. Didn't know they were in the game until my second playthrough. No matter, these are easy to get. There's 3 in each zone, and you just find them and photograph them. Boom, done. Blueprint fragments, encapsulated in these purple crystals. In my first playthrough, I'd continuously shoot these things to no avail, so I gave up on collecting them. So now that I got a lot more firepower, it's time to track them all down again. But man, there's a lot of these. Collecting them all aimlessly would of course take hours, so naturally, I used a guide. Which still took forever. Even with a guide map, it's still a bit hard to tell exactly where they are, as we're flying around in a 3D space. No matter, you see purple, you shoot it down. But this is where the limited turning radius really becomes an issue. Why not just let the ship fully pivot in place when stopped? Oh, and this damn auto turnaround. Okay. Only 2 gummy missions left. And finally, we've got synthesis. I've never really been a fan of synthesis in games. Tracking down materials, rare drops, constant grinding, and still short on materials. I'd rather just save up money and buy new equipment, but I guess there's not too much depth in that. Regardless, there's 88 items to synthesize, and I've got 12. Wish me luck. Alright, I knocked a good chunk of these out, and now I've got a hefty list of materials to gather. Might as well finish up the photo missions. And those added a few more items. Great. Grind time. Oh, and the best part? The more items you synthesize, the larger your list becomes. I now have a whole separate list of materials that weren't read before. Ah, synthesis. Alright, half an eternity later, I finished the list. I still got a lot of collector skulls though, and the rest of my Keyblades to upgrade. Oh, and I forgot about the game records. A few shot locks, and the 100-acre minigame score. And there it is! Platinum trophy and 100% completion. Nice. Now I can move on with my life. Unless of course Square Enix adds more into this game.
Oh, I nearly forgotten. Come on, there's gotta be a remind joke in there somewhere.
Maybe you should remind your own business.
While we wait for the DLC to finish installing, I guess I should introduce you to my metal friend. This is Remindbot. Since it's been nearly a year since KH3's release, I thought it would be great to get a little recap on the story. So take it away, Remindbot.
Interpreting archive. Memories recalled. Sora needs to find his power. He sets off to find his power. Sora doesn't find his power. Sora doesn't find his power. Sora doesn't find his power. Sora had his power all along. Aqua is saved. Ventus is saved. 7 lights plus 13 darknesses equals 6 darknesses. Sora dies. Sora's alive. Kyrie dies. But then Sora's dead and Kyrie's alive. I want you for a lifetime, but if you have to think twice, baby, I don't want to know. Baby, I don't want to know.
Okay, that didn't really help much, but we're installed and ready to go. So let's start this up. Whoa.
Kyrie joins the title screen. That is beautiful.
May your heart be your guiding key.
He said it. He finished his sentence this time.
That was so weird in the original game, how he just cut out. We knew he was gonna say key.
May your heart...
There are many possibilities.
Whoa, look at those card tricks.
Or he's playing a prank. Or the letter has truly gone missing. Zigbar, who are you really?
Oh, we know who you are.
The question is, who are you, Luxord?
Wait, yeah, really? Who is he?
Now we jump from Olympus, which is the first world, to the very end of the game.
Me, on the other hand, I'm too much of a scaredy cat to ever take mine off.
Oh, it's really him. And young Xehanort. I mean, not that young Xehanort. Young Xehanort and younger Xehanort, I guess. That's kind of confusing. There's 2 young Xehanorts. I'm just interested in his world tour.
So, how'd it go? The tour.
日常は何の前触れもなく一変する。たった一歩で変わるんだ。
Oh. Damn.
I stand here today because of a fated encounter.
That is not Xehanort's voice. Look, Howard did a good voice for Xehanort. Obviously it's no Leonard Nimoy, but still, very good. But this one? It just doesn't fit. Rest in peace, Rutger Hauer. Clearly, there's no replacement for you.
I mean, he's got the gruffle down, but there's too much whistle on the back end. It's got this higher pitch to it. Then Chirithy talks about nature taboos.
What?
There's a lot I don't understand.
Nature taboo.
The place where you'll return is the tear in the fabric of time that was created when you changed your destiny, then changed it once again.
We found you!
Yep. Back where we started, before everyone died. But this time, everyone's alive. And you really didn't gain anything from that whole excursion. It was just something that happened just to happen. And then you move on. If that part was omitted from the game, nothing would be lost.
And my point still stands. This time, with a bandage draped over the plot hole.
Dark Inferno. I know this guy.
Back off!
Definitely easier this time around.
They all die. Again. Ugh. A tornado of Darkwa?
You know, I call her Darkwa, but that would work a lot better if I had like an Australian accent or something. Dakwa. Tornado of Dakwa.
Hey! Nominee's back. She actually gets some screen time. And she's a ghost?
I've brought out Terra's most personal and powerful thoughts.
We're re-watching a lot of the Graveyard. It's like they took my least favorite parts of KH3 and expanded on them.
Be gone!
Look, even when he's dead, Sora's gotta steal the show. Can't you let anyone else shine? I'm so sick of this overly optimistic Sora. I love Sora, and he's always been cheesy with his friendship magic, but he also used to have other attributes about him. Now it's just, hey, that's right, I'm here to save the day. I can't say I like it. At least it's not Dream Drop Distance Sora. I never get sick of that mask, though.
Leave it to me!
Right. Like I want to play as Sora again.
Let's do this! Take this!
Yay! Some proper Riku action. I don't know why this wasn't in the base game.
I mean, we fought as him in the Realm of Darkness. Hopefully it's more than just this battle.
Nope.
Like it?
Sick dash, Riku.
The power of a master.
Demix time!
Your Majesty!
Huh? Sora! Sora, come on!
Aw, no playable Mickey?
Remember KH2? Remember 358 mission mode?
No? Okay. By the way, why does Mickey keep getting trapped in this game?
First, it was Darkwa's Orb of Darkness, and then Luxord's card. Get it together, Your Majesty.
I was gonna say, Your Mouse-justy, but that doesn't really work well.
Ridiculous.
Come on! Come on!
Oh, Faith Volley. Team attack with Mickey. Was this in the original game? If it was, I never saw it.
I was really just along for the ride.
With...
My secret.
Aw, it's still a secret, Larxene?
When can we know?
And now I am on the cusp of reclaiming my identity.
Yeah, that's Laurium. I'm not much of a Union Key player, so I don't really know his story, but I'm almost sure we didn't know Marluxia's somebody name when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. I know I didn't. And I remember looking it up at one point, with no success, but many forums of speculation. Some people came up with some strange names for him. Same for Larxene, Demyx, and Luxord. If I'm not mistaken, Larxene is Elrena, but the other two still aren't known.
Unless it's rolled. Not sure I dig it. No word on Demyx yet.
Medi? Dame? Yedem? Maid?
Terra! Look closely. That's not Terra.
Damn, Aqua's pissed.
This may shock you, but we're not the same like you think.
Please don't tell me Vanitas isn't actually the dark half of Ventus. We really don't need to complicate things more.
Xehanort. I'm casting you out of Terra forever!
Oh, Aqua's playable?
Aqua! Ven!
Oh, and there's Sora. At least I can still be Aqua.
This is how these battles should have been handled in the base game. See, in my KH3 review, I had a whole section about playable characters towards the end, and I mentioned, but to me it was just a given, but we never got. I mean, you give them all Keyblades, but only Sora's matters? This character choosing in these battles absolutely should have been there from the start. So you could choose between Sora and Riku/Aqua, or even better, let these characters handle their own
Or even better,
let these characters handle their own battles while Sora's off doing something else. So then these characters can stand on their own without Sunshine coming in to save the day.
Sora! Sora!
Sora!
Your Majesty!
Huh? Sora!
I made it! Allow me! Aqua!
Over here!
Come on!
Now!
Nope!
It's yours!
Enough!
Give it
Over
up!
here!
Ven!
And Ven comes in with that icy hoverboard kick.
Go! Yes! You're through! I need the rest. And what you are is darkness?
What I am is darkness.
Okay. How is that okay? Vanitas?
that's not even new. I just love that line.
It is a being of whom we have no memories. A true nobody.
Roxas. Axel.
No, Shion. Don't do this to me.
Kyrie! Axel!
Ugh, he's so whiny. I hate it.
Wait! It's all right! You can stop now!
This scene usually brings a tear to my eye. It just looks goofy with the ultimate Keyblade.
There, that's better. By the way, seeing all the different stained glass heart dives was really cool in this. Terra, Ventus, Roxas.
No way. Roxas is playable? And with his dual-wield Keyblades.
I did not expect this. I mean, Aqua and Riku were already playable in the game, although for a laughably short amount of time, so it wasn't too surprising, though welcomed. But Roxas? Aw yeah! Team 358? Here we go! His reversal move's back. Neat. Though not the most useful move.
Now, the big finale!
Whoa, look at that team attack.
Are you ready for this?
In an extended 358 trio cutscene.
Is this the sigil?
The mark will disappear along with Xemnas, and that's fine. I just wanted to reclaim it for myself.
Terra, Roxas, and Xion's returns are touched on. Then, we head for the Xehanorts.
The 13 darknesses and 7 lights have clashed 9 times.
Ugh, his voice. It's so weird. It's like Farnsworth is antagonizing Sora.
Settle down, boy.
It's especially unsettling because we've already seen this cutscene with his second voice actor. Same scene, different voice.
You forget I planned for every eventuality.
That is sick.
They completely redid the sky. This is 1,000 times nicer than gray sky and blue meteors. Let's just take a minute to take in the view.
Master Xehanort's portal. That's it!
Oh, you mean that same portal we went through in the original game before your weird time travel stunt? How is this a new revelation to you? Now we're in Scala Ed Kayam alone. Okay, now I feel things are going to switch up some. It was nice seeing extra scenes in the Keyblade graveyard in the moments before Sora shows up, but let's be real, we just replayed that world from Kingdom Hearts 3, but with a few twists. Hopefully it opens up from this point, then maybe I can change my verdict from rehashed to revised. Kairi in Scala.
Kairi!
Look, I can actually explore Scala Ed Kayam without getting beat up.
Everyone always told me to just follow my heart.
Really? We're still doing the whole follow your heart thing?
Whoa, whoa! This is some serious trouble!
Hey, I kind of get to play as Axel. And Terra. And now, all of them?
This character cluster is kind of unsettling.
What? I do get to play as Mickey?
I have to get closer!
Oh. Oh no. I don't like this. We're an injured Mickey Mouse fighting death, I guess. This looks awesome, but the gameplay here? Not so much. Mickey's dying. Critical condition. I don't like it.
We are, all of us, together!
Oh look, Sora saves Mickey.
That's it! I'll just connect this light.
Connecting keyholes. Okay.
We're playing as Kyrie. This is the first time ever that Kyrie is playable. Just give me a moment. Xehanort, please shut up. It sounds like he's choking on a biscuit.
Chirithy watching fireworks. So that's how Ven had Chirithy. So is that an allusion to Ven's pre-Birth by Sleep days? Cause he's in Unchained Key, right? In one form or another. This is a nice touch. Sora and Kyrie being there for each of the end scenes. But then we just watch the same end scenes I've already watched 6 times.
So that was Remind, huh? What do you think, Remindbot?
Remarkable.
On to Limit Cut.
Oh yeah, finally something's different. Riku is in the land of departure.
Well, look at you. Good luck.
One year later, we're moving forward in time. This time, we're going places.
Radiant Garden.
Oh no, don't tell me. Merlin's house? Did he finally leave the bistro?
Leon? Aerith? Yuffie? Sid? The Travers Gang are back!
Whoa, they look outstanding. Kingdom Hearts has Final Fantasy again.
I am in shock.
But if we still remember him, then he must still be with us.
Is that Sync's voice?
Good, and then, what do we do when we're done studying?
I hope that's not what she sounds like in the remake. She sounds detached from the character, if that makes any sense.
And what about Kyrie?
Sora's inside the computer?
No, that's just the data I constructed based on Sora and his fighting abilities.
Does that mean recoded too?
Oh, I'm Riku now. Like walking around, not just a throwaway battle. And we're in Merlin's house.
Aw, I can't leave. I want to see Radiant Garden.
So, coded it is. What is data greeting? Is that like a collage? Let's pick Destiny Islands.
Whoa, I'm actually here?
The island is now in KH3. Oh. So is this like a debug menu? I'm so confused. Does this have a purpose? It's just for photos, I guess.
Well, I can see myself never using that again.
Looks like we've got data battles, though. Thanks, Sid.
I banish you to the void.
Damn. I think these will take a while.
After beating Larxene, you obtain a magic boost. Oh, what now? How did I not know these existed? I'm assuming they're in the base game, but this is the first I'm hearing about it. Look, I got some stacked in my inventory. Time to transform. Marluxia's back with that kiss of death. Luxord and his dang games. I don't like the looks of this. I'll come back. Ansem was a joke.
Okay, Xemnas, that's just cheating.
What feels like hours later, death after death, Xemnas is done for. It really isn't a hard fight up until he starts the red orbs. And those last 2 health bars just didn't want to go down.
Leaving first. I banish you to the void.
Let the battles resume.
Cool. Now I've got everyone beat, except Luxord. Time to play his little game.
I just hate the idea that I could lose a fight when my HP isn't even depleted. I know button mashers receive a few laughs from more refined Kingdom Hearts players, but I am 100% an X button masher. I mean, unless you're playing critical, you really don't need much besides. Especially in KH3. I'm more into a planned out strategy like active time battles or tactical attacks, where it's a bit less in your face with button timing. But with that said, I welcome the battles that make me switch up my style. The Dark Inferno was a bit of a challenge, and I've enjoyed all of these data battles, but this Luxord one, I am not having it. Hitting these dumb circle cards, and he gets his gauge back? What the hell? And dude attacks you while he's in a card, and you're not given time to knock out all these O cards. I hate this battle. I swear I'm not even rushing it. I'm dodging and guarding, but dude gets impatient and ends the phase. Oh, and that auto target keeps flushing me over. I know it can't read my intentions, but I try to attack one card, and Sora slide dashes to a completely different one. How many of these dang cards do I gotta hit? That was like 4 or 5 in a row. And he just ends it, attacking me. And it kills me that all my progress is lost by not acing his little game. He's back at full health.
Okay, I'm starting to get the hang of it.
So this next phase, he's in the cards, and you gotta pick the right one. Standard stuff. But you have 2 options to get him. Attack, or use triangle. Now you can't really use the attack, cause you'll attack the wrong cards while aiming at the right one. But the triangle is flawed, cause everything is mapped to triangle. Look, I got Rage Form, I got Ultimate Form, and I got a reoccurring Blizzaza. All while I'm trying to nab Luxord. I probably would have won this time too. This is the best I've done yet. But I lose it all over something as dumb as Rage Form sharing the button. Yeah, I made mistakes as well, but surely not to the extent of losing the battle. A cold few hours later, I finally beat him at his own game.
Play again someday. When we're just guys.
Yeah, I'll pass on that one, Sora. I've had enough Luxord.
So, with him defeated, we unlock the last 2 battle gates. I don't care what's next, as long as it doesn't involve dumb cards. Hold up, did Luxord arrange Chain of Memories? Doesn't matter.
Shion, sorry I have to do this.
It is so nice to be back to mashing.
This is how it's supposed to be.
Bring on the big bad. I'm gonna beat him up just for his voice.
Is this even a fight? All I see is special effects, and no Xehanort. I'm having flashbacks to the pre-Leaf Bracer days. Anytime I use a potion, I get killed while my potion is still in the air.
Take that, old man. They said you couldn't mash your way through it, but I showed them.
Way to retaliate.
Bippity boppity boom!
It was dark, and I was surrounded by tall buildings. I was looking around for Sora when I felt someone watching me from way up high.
So the secret movie was Riku's dream?
I see you.
What? We get to meet Yozora? And he tries to kill us. Whoa, we're on top of Shibuya 109.
Huh? Then what's with the weapon?
Time to end this. There! You thought you'd win? Sorry, but I don't lose.
Dang, and I was doing good too.
So I lost, but still get a cutscene. Is he in the regalia? Okay, I got him to like half health my very first fight with him, but like everyone after that, he's killing me quick. Did he get stronger?
Got this. You are.
Back at you.
Greedy bastard. Yozora stole my Kupo coin. You can't even let me have that? What's he gonna do with it? If I manage to kill him, is he gonna use it to revive?
Yeah, right. Okay, so I decided to take a little break from Yozora. So I had no idea there were 2 new Keyblades added with the DLC. Technically they were added before the DLC, but close enough. So it turns out, the Oathkeeper is unlocked from obtaining all the lucky emblems. Now I've got to come clean. I never actually got all the lucky emblems before playing Remind. I got most, but couldn't be bothered for the last few in the Caribbean. Of course, I had planned to get them all eventually. I mean, it isn't a hard task, but I got the minimum for the KH3 secret ending, And then the minimum for obtaining the Orichalcum Plus needed to create the Ultima, so if I just would have went all the way, I'd have it for the whole DLC. Oh well. So I polished off the remaining lucky emblems and got my Keyblade. But I was surprised it was really weak. Synthesis, of course. I visited the Keyblade Forge, and after a few trips to Lucky Island, I got a fully upgraded Oathkeeper. Unfortunately, it's still weaker than the Ultima. Maybe the Oblivion will be stronger, but I won't know until I beat Critical Mode, so it might be a while.
Okay, so I'm doing Critical.
Damn right I chose easy. So I guess this is a new feature of the DLC. Something about a premium menu.
This is about to be the easiest critical mode ever. Oblivion, here we come.
And just for fun, I'll run through with the newfound Oathkeeper. Man, I wish Glide was carried over with New Game Plus. It just feels restricting being stuck on the ground after soaring for so long. This is the strangest game run ever. All the enemies are vaporized in one hit, but Titan smashes Boulder as one hitter on me. It'd be nice to New Game Plus the Golden Highwind too. Oh yeah, one-shotting the battle bots. That frozen sled dragon shoot avalanche ride on Critical is something I never want to have to experience again. 1 hour and 2 minutes it took. Did we really need the frozen minigame to be a one-shot? Oh well, I took those damn dragons out in one shot lock. Payback. I was worried about these jellyfish one-zapping me to death, but nope, auto-block. Heck yeah for cheating. These minigames are killing me. Luxord again. But this time, it's not a card game. It's a ship race. I mean, you knew that already. This is just a KH3 run at this point. In Critical. With cheats. But this dude's out of health, but keeps going. And fast. What the hell is that? I know I'm cheating. Doesn't mean you get to. Huh. I feel like I just did all this. So there we go. A sub 8-hour critical run. Take that, speedrunners. All in one night. So we got the proof of past times. Sweet.
Only one problem. How am I gonna get the Oblivion to my main file?
I mean, I got Oathkeeper on there, cause you obtain that within a run, but the Oblivion is only obtained by completing a critical run. So since it has to, by design, be a separate file, there's no way to get that in my original file. That's a real shame. Why isn't it an unlock for the user overall? My main file is near and dear to me. It's the one I played Kingdom Hearts 3 for the very first time with. The one that I took all the time to experience every little detail with. All the collectibles and accomplishments. All the photos with my memories of the journey with Donald and Goofy. the very same file I used to continue on in the DLC. I wanted that to be an ultimate, complete, 100% plus file one day. But that just can't happen if I can't even use one of the Keyblades I worked so hard for. And I used cheats too. Imagine someone in a similar situation to me, where they want to ultimately complete a save file, but the twist is, they actually did a second run in Critical without cheats. Sure, all Keyblades transfer over to a New Game Plus, so why not a file in which I already put in the work before I had the stronger Keyblades? Besides, this was my third run. My main file was first, in Standard. My second was in Beginner, for gameplay footage. And now my third was this cheated Critical specifically for the Oblivion, and I can't use it on the one file I want it on. I'm not planning on doing another run anytime soon, so essentially, that Keyblade serves no purpose but to look at. So I could bring it into the Yozora fight, but I'll have to go through Remind again, and more than likely Limit Cut, using the Critical save. And the data battles were daunting enough in Standard. I really doubt the cheats will carry over. The only alternative, I think, is to play through yet another run of KH3 using New Game Plus and the Oblivion, save after the ending, replay, Remind, and Limit Cut with this new fourth file of mine, and then I can sick Yozora with the Oblivion.
Seems like a lot, man.
Speaking of Keyblades, I guess now is a good time to state this. If you watched my Kingdom Hearts 3 review videos, you may have noticed I used each Keyblade exclusively with its corresponding world. Since the majority of my gameplay was from a second playthrough, I thought that would be a nice touch. So as tempting as it was to just annihilate using my strongest Keyblade, I stuck to this rule of mine solely for the video. So I want to do the same for this video. So you probably saw me using the Oathkeeper for most of this. Then I went on about how I didn't know there were new Keyblades. So this is the explanation to that. Any footage using the Oathkeeper is from my second run of Remind, and footage of the Ultima is from my first playthrough. And in the event you saw me using the Oblivion during the DLC sections, well, that would have been recorded after this point. So hopefully that clears that up.
Anyway, I've got an unsettled score with Yozora. It's probably 0-13 at this point.
Time to re-evaluate.
After rearranging my inventory, synthesizing a bunch of elixirs, making my ultimate full course, and forging an Orichalcum ring, I'm as ready as I'll ever be to take on Yozora.
What? He really did go and use that Kupo coin. I was joking about that. Then he's gone and done it.
It's an endurance round at this point.
Sorry, I just had to spam Ariel. I thought it was game over when he revived, but I beat him twice in one go.
I messed up. I guess that my powers aren't needed yet.
What do you mean?
Never mind.
So that's it? We should get a movie after completing that task. Yozora was no joke. At least Yozora can join in the data greeting.
Well, I did say I wanted a movie. I guess I could watch the orchestra now.
I paid 10 extra bucks for this? Don't get me wrong, it's enjoyable, and I certainly respect the musical performance aspect of it. That takes talent, and with beautiful results. I'd be chuffed if I was actually there. I'd love to be at one of these. But I already spent $30 on the DLC, and to be fair, I just recently watched a Nier Automata live performance free on YouTube, and my guess is that's how this will end up. I'm not saying that's right, ethically, unless it was uploaded with the blessings of whoever owns the concert footage. Anyway, the orchestra's nice, but dang, this is extra? Why not just a neat little bonus included with the $30 DLC we all bought?
Sora's got a pretty dope conductor's outfit though.
And look at that baton. It's a little key. By the way, your play all feature is jank, Squeenix. It only works if you want to sit from the very beginning on, and doesn't account for someone wanting to come back and resume from where they left off. I don't want to choose from the menu each time. I even tried play all, then hitting next until I got to the clip I was last on, but I guess that voids the play all. And the issue's not just here. It was a bit annoying when I was getting footage for my KH3 video, and I used the theater menu in KH2 HD, and a lot of the scenes in the older games can be like 10 seconds long. Then you're back at the menu, and the thing that makes this an issue is it loads the clip, then loads the menu, then loads the new clip, then the menu again. It's just unnecessary. Oh well. Orchestra was cool, but I'm afraid that's all the Remind DLC has to offer. And I'm getting flashbacks to KH3's release, that resounding feeling of, that's all? Look, KH3 was missing a lot, and this DLC should have been Square Enix's chance to fix all of it. The new cutscenes and boss battles are awesome, but there's so many missed potentials with this one.
Pause. Rewind.
This is gonna take a minute, huh? Remindbot? I guess you're busy. I'll just use this as a moment to reflect on what Remind had to offer.
Remind gives us a sort of parallel storyline to the one in Kingdom Hearts 3. When we complete Olympus, Maleficent and Pete give up their search in that world. And overwatching them is Xigbar. He says,
"May your heart..."
and then gets cut off, which the first time I saw it, I thought a glitch occurred that skipped the scene. But in Remind, we get to see what Ziggy was on about, and some conflict with Luxord. But then our parallel adventure jumps all the way to the Keyblade graveyard. That's a hefty leap. You're telling me Square Enix wanted to address that one scene towards the beginning, then the start of the final battle, and nothing in between?
Why couldn't they remind us why Kairi was important in the first place?
Like, how's this? After the organization scenes, we're brought to Merlin's mysterious land, where Kairi and Lee are training. A new round is about to start, and we're then given a choice. Play as Kyrie, or play as Axel, and then we proceed to fight the other character. Afterward, we're exhausted, and we exchange our good jobs. As we catch Merlin walking towards the training ground, we greet him, and he gives us some words of wisdom, followed by an ominous quip regarding a challenge to come. Kyrie and Axel exchange glances, and confer, we'll be ready. Before going in for another round, Merlin smiles proudly as he watches them battle, then reports to Master Yen Sid on his gummy phone. Just when Yen Sid hangs up the gummy phone, King Mickey and Riku walk in. We then follow them on their quest to the Realm of Darkness, and then to Radiant Garden. While in Radiant Garden, we see the square, but not only that, we get to walk around it. Riku feels some sort of connection to this place, and Mickey reminisces about all that's gone on there in the past. Finally, we enter the research lab to find Ienzo in the flesh. We conversate with him, as well as Dylan and Alias, and maybe we're given a little errand to complete around the town, like look for Evan. Our focus is then brought over to the glimmering town of Twilight, where the trio of friends are still trying to figure out how to find Roxas.
You know, 'cause they never did.
We come up with a plan in our usual quirky fashion and get to work. We take control of Hainer at this point, but we don't do anything crazy though. Hainer, of course, isn't really a fighter, unless we get a kung fu kick as our moveset, but no Keyblade, of course. At most, maybe a struggle stick. But we've got an expanded Twilight Town to walk around in, and Olette and Pence will have their roles to play. Maybe we even interact with Scrooge and Remy.
Or
Cypher and his gang give us some grief. Like, he's mostly warmed up to us since KH2, but something is bothering him, you know? Everyone keeps talking about this Roxas, but he's never heard of him. What's the big deal, anyway? He'll say, why spend so much time looking for someone you don't even know? Clearly jealous. And then Pence will say something about, we don't know him, but our other selves do. And Olette will chime in agreement, and Cypher looks at them like they're nuts. Rajan exclaims his head hurts from this, and Fujin says this is a waste of time. The trio keep trying, but ultimately realize they're not gonna find him there. We then go back to Kyrie and Axel. They know it's almost time for the final battle. One last battle? Axel says, holding out his Keyblade. Kyrie agrees, and you fight once more. This time, in that forest, and you've got lots of space to hunt the other person down. And Heartless appear too, and you weave in and out of trees battling. After it's done, the two are out of breath. You ready? Axel asks, and Kyrie nods. One last battle, she repeats, and the two go and find Merlin so we can take them to the mysterious tower. Now we're in the Realm of Darkness again, but this time as Aqua, or Darkwa as I call her, since she's already turned. And this part's like an excerpt from 0.2 Fragmentary Passage, only this time, you play as an enraged Aqua, teeming with darkness. She kills everything around her, super OP. Then Riku and King show up, and you fight them. You have to win against Riku, and afterward, Aqua's defeated in cutscene when Sora shows up. We continue as normal Aqua, leading the way as Sora wonders where the land of departure is. I'll show you, Aqua says, as we venture the grassy plains, castle in the distance. As we get nearer, Sora has faint memories. He tries to reconcile with Donald and Goofy, but to no avail. He just can't put his finger on it. Aqua unlocks the world, then is flooded with flashbacks. 10 years since she's been here, when everything was easy. when her two closest friends were with her every day, when her master, who she looked up to with the greatest respect, was still alive, before she truly knew darkness and the toll it can have on you. More determined than ever, she rushes in to check on her sleeping friend. They have their reunion. Then Sora catches them up on what's coming next. Ven, having been asleep for 10 years, doesn't fully understand what he's up against, but with Aqua by his side, he's determined to make things right. Everybody's reunited outside the mysterious tower, 'cause, I mean, why not? It's already modeled and everything, cut from KH3, and didn't even make it into Remind. Might as well gather here before going inside. We listen to Yen Sid mumble on, and then head for the Keyblade graveyard.
But how do they get there? They can't all fit in that gummy ship, right?
Keyblade, armor, jet skis. They each get one, except for Sora, who's sitting in the gummy ship bummed, along with Donald and Goofy. So then, before we go on to where Remind actually has a start, we get some more insight to the Xehanorts and how they all gather. Maybe get some banter. I mean, it must be strange looking at that many different versions of yourself, each as evil as the next. So we play as different characters in the Keyblade graveyard, which is awesome, but I can't help but think it's not really an expansion. It feels more like something that should have been there originally. Like, how are you going to gather that many Keyblade wielders together in one place, but only play as Sora? So this feels more like a fix than an add-on.
And speaking of fixes, these version 1.07 changes are wonderful.
Especially that sky. But they also added music during that Sora and Xehanort Kyrie killing scene, which packs more of a punch than the silence, then slow music.
You require motivation.
Kyrie! Why her?
You require motivation.
Kyrie! Why her?
And some of the character models are improved too, with new lighting effects. Oh, and Axel getting hit with 1,000 more lasers. As I said before, I'm loving the new scenes and perspectives here, but the whole premise is weird.
So KH3 does a few things that are uncanny. I'm not sure that's the best word to use, but something just feels odd.
My first issue was the bridge section being rushed through. This is the Darkwa section, and Ventus Awakening. Almost nothing progressed the story during the main game up until this point. Then the first major story event happens, and we speed through it. But that's not the uncanny part. That comes in when Sora dies. I absolutely hated the final world when I first seen it. I'm kind of used to it now, but I still don't like it. It looks nice. Supposedly it's based on a real world place, which is pretty cool. But this is Sora's death? Look, death is a strange concept. We all know it's inevitable, but no one knows what it's like. We have our guesses, whether through religion, or philosophy, or fiction, etc. But there's a certain mystery that comes with that, whether it comes in the form of fear, or wonder, or uneasiness, or peace. But there's none of that here. If you're gonna make your main character die, there's gotta be an impact. Like, Sora comes to in a dim place. He's alone, something Friendship Boy is not comfortable with. And just like how he was doubting the situation before his death, when he's here, he's still not sure if anything will be okay. We, the audience, can't have any of these feelings if Sora doesn't even feel this way. Give it some time before everything brightens up. Sora dying, then ending up in a clean place, and Chirithy there almost immediately to say everything's fine, doesn't do anything for anyone or the story. The uncanny thing, though, is all these Soras walking around.
Is that not disturbing to anyone else? It's kinda gross.
A Sora infestation.
Right?
But that's all he needs to restore himself. And who knew that all you'd need to bring your friends back to life is to fight a Heartless? Hasn't he done that countless times? What's so different about the Lich? But then you have this Sora and Kairi flying. It's weird. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it does. This isn't like a Neverland glide, or your ability obtained thereafter. Maybe it's just strange seeing it in a rendered cutscene, just like Roxas in the extended tiers in 358 2.5. But then, now you've got all these people going to fight a great battle. You'd think that'd be epic, but there's too many of them to have each person play a role. There's just not enough going on. Think back to the Keyblade Graveyard battle in Birth by Sleep. That was top notch, because it's 3 against a very powerful 1, and I guess Braig and Vanitas are there as well. But in KH3, they all default to just standing there most of the time. Like here, we are surrounded by Heartless, but we have to have a generic talk about doing something. So we just stand back to back, Keyblades drawn, and the enemies wait for us to deliver our lines, and someone bops a Heartless here and there just to remind us we're in a great battle. And I know there's something similar in KH2, but as our technology gets better, things gotta come off a bit more realistic, or else it just looks wrong. So there's more standing, and to make all these characters a little bit more manageable, they're split up into different segments, which works story-wise. You've got your Birth by Sleep, your 358, Nobodies, these guys, then your Xehanorts, and of course, Sora's the drive behind each of these battles.
If your friends are your power, then why not trust the power of your friends?
Anyway, I moved on from this point, and I'm sure others did as well. But then Remind decided to double down on it, make things weirder. So, a copy of Sora sent back in time is who we play as in this, but not all of it, I guess, 'cause these parts are still us as KH3 Sora. So this whole time there were 2 Soras running around, and one of them died so he could stop his other self from dying. But then they're both there, and one's trying to do stuff before the other him gets there.
I don't say this often when it comes to Kingdom Hearts, but what the hell is going on? Is that really the solution to this?
Look, Kingdom Hearts has always been convoluted. But if you spend enough time studying, it'll all make sense. But the whole time traveling thing is where it all started falling apart for me. Starting with Dream Drop Distance, and all Xehanort's rules for time travel, and then how Unchained Key takes place in the distant past. But then there's Donald and Goofy, but not just in the Meadows, but in Daybreak Town, and Aladdin, and a not-so-young Herc. And, well, anything could happen in Wonderland.
But apparently it's still taking place in the past, but with illusions and storybook form from the future. What? Why, though?
Bringing the future to the past just doesn't make sense in any story. That's why every single time travel medium introduces paradoxes into the plot, and I just don't feel like going there. So we have Sora going back in time. Whatever. Anytime you have to say, my other self, or the other me, you already lost. Like Sonic Generations, great game, but seeing two different Sonics that are the same, but from different points in time, is weird and feels wrong. Anyway, there's an expanded Scala ad Caem. In my KH3 review, I exclaimed, "And Scala ad Caem is a beauty. I want to see more of it."
And now, we get to do just that.
I mean, it's not like a full world, but it is a pretty big chunk of ground to cover. And I just love looking at all the details, like the posters, the cows, and the milk canisters, and all the fancy table sets, and the houses. Makes me wonder, what kind of life did the citizens live? And who are, or were, the residents? Hopefully not these guys. So this part's cool. You gotta collect 5 flower petals to save Kairi, but how you obtain them is different for each. Like this fountain, you restore it with Eroga. Or this weird machine. But you find those, then fight this boss. And here it is, Kairi is playable. So I wanted to go into this DLC as blind as I could, but sometimes it just can't be helped. I've seen a couple things from thumbnails and YouTube titles, so going into this new story, I knew 2 things. One is that Leon and Aerith return, and the second is that Kairi is playable in the DLC. And if those on YouTube knew that much to pass the info on, it had to have come from Square. So knowing you could, at one point, play as Kairi, I was expecting a lot. Like an actual episode, with a story following her or something. A boss battle, besides being one battle, is only half the experience of playing as a character. It's the combat portion, and the other part is simply walking as them, exploring as them, leveling up, and switching equipment. So it's awesome that we finally get to play as Kairi for the first time ever, but it's just a battle. Cool fight though. It was a little challenging too. But in my opinion, Remind was a tease. Instead of fixing KH3's flaws, it shows us a few flashy moments, but doesn't really do much. The story isn't really progressed, which is fine for a DLC, but the story isn't really strengthened much by this either. You get a different perspective of the graveyard scenes, see Riku for like 30 seconds, and more ambiguity in the whole Yozora situation, though that's by far my favorite part of this DLC. The bosses were fun too, but is it really worth $30? I try not to let pricing affect my opinion on games, but we're essentially paying half the price of a full game, but not getting nearly the content of half a game. So is it worth it? In my opinion, no. But then again, that's the price of admission. And there's no way I'd pass on more KH3 content. And as much as I hate to say this, I hope there's just one more DLC. Cause I really want KH3 to live up to its potential. I want to see this done right before we all move on to the next game. But is this gonna happen? I don't know. Should it happen? Only if they do it right this time around. That pretty much does it for Remind. Only thing left is the sort of post-game, or post-DLC completion. So let's check that out. Our final challenge in the Remind DLC is getting all the trophies. I got all but 2 just by playing through it. The only ones left are the All-Rounder and Risk-Taker trophies. Remember during my critical run, those cheats I used? Well, along with those is a set of challenges, 9 merits for the easy codes, and a 365,000 score for pro codes. The easy codes were pretty, well, easy, especially with a guide. The one I really like here is the Airwalk challenge, in which you fly from Rapunzel's tower all the way to the city of Corona while only touching the ground a limit of 5 times. It's a clever little challenge that doesn't involve killing a set of certain enemies in a certain way. It also helps that I glide just about everywhere anyway. It really is a shame just how many invisible boundaries exist in this game though. I just love exploration, especially in worlds as beautiful as these. And when you give me super mobility moves, like shotlock launch and gliding, I just want to utilize them as much as possible. Oh well. On to the pro codes. Yeah, I don't think these are for me. This isn't as straightforward as the easy code merits, but to my understanding, you have to start a new game, have all codes enabled, and kill all the bosses in the game to get their pro merit high score. I'm all for a challenge, but in my opinion, this is just dumb. There's not much you can do to improve your stats, since the pro codes simply do not allow it. I'm sure by now some people have defeated Yozora critical mode without taking damage, and that's impressive. So if you're one of those people, you may love these pro codes, but that is not me at all. I feel like I'd be completely over this game by my 1000th try on the same boss. Heck, I didn't even want to start a 4th playthrough to attempt this one, but I did. I started anyway. Got the merit for Rock Titan, tried the other Titans twice, and made a decision.
Nope, I'm cool.
With enough tries, I could catch on and kill these dudes. But what's next? Repeating the 100 death cycle for each boss in the game? Oh yeah, this includes all the data battles and freaking Yozora. Is that really something I want to get involved in?
Nah, not at all. A cool challenge if you're into it, but it's strange that this is a trophy.
Not that you shouldn't be awarded, but in the base game, even completing Proud Mode doesn't net you a trophy. It's just not required. And because of these limits that are set, it seems like this might even be harder than critical, though I'm not really the one to ask.
So if I don't get this trophy, it'll only bother me a little. I can look past it, I guess.
So with Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind completed, we have 200 hours of gameplay, between 6 playthroughs, 1 main in Standard, 1 footage run in Beginner, 1 cheat run in Critical, 1 beginner cheat run to bring Oblivion to the ending, 1 Remind Limit Cut secret run in Normal, and 1 last Remind Limit Cut secret run in Beginner with the Oblivion. 18 Keyblades collected, 51 trophies obtained, and 1 glaring smudge on my otherwise perfect record.
So I guess that's all there is to it. The KH3 Remind DLC. Was it rehashed or revised? Let me know what you think. That's about all I can say for it. Is there anything you'd like to retort, Remindbot?
This was a waste of my time. I will remember none of this. Thank you, Bobby, for re-entering my service. Goodbye.
Okay. That one just doesn't make sense. But thanks for revisiting, everybody. And may your heart
be your guiding key. Remindbot.